What if I told you that while the war between Iran and Israel rages on, amidst all the fire and chaos, there is a stoic way to regain control and find your inner strength? If you're feeling fear and panic because of the news, know this: it is not your fault. Your brain can, in fact, lie to you about war. And today, we will learn how to correct that with the philosophy of Stoicism. Right now, in these very days, we are witnessing the long-standing conflict between Iran and Israel escalate into open war. Fear, anger, a sense of powerlessness. This is what millions are feeling. And it's understandable. But what would the Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who himself spent years on military campaigns, tell us right now? What did he know about regaining control of the mind when the body is in danger? This is not just philosophy. This is a vital guide to surviving the chaos, one that will help us preserve our humanity and our sanity when the world around us seems to be losing its own. Greetings, friends. I won't recite the latest headlines to you. You're already seeing them. Open war between Iran and Israel has become a reality, and our first instinctive reaction is shock and horror. But Stoicism, a philosophy forged in the fires of war, epidemics, and political upheaval, teaches us that even in a moment like this, we are not powerless. While we cannot stop the missiles in the sky, we can and we must govern our inner world. Therein lies our Stoic way of regaining control. Today, we will explore 4 powerful tools of Stoicism that can help you cope with the anxiety caused by the news. The first and most fundamental principle, Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, begins with this very idea: some things are within our power, while others are not. What is within our power? Our thoughts, our judgments, our aspirations, our decisions. Our own character was not in our power. The actions of other people, the decisions of governments, the outcomes of wars, our bodies, our reputations, the weather, essentially the entire external world. Epictetus knew this firsthand. He was a slave. He literally belonged to another person. Yet he understood that his mind was his own fortress. Let's apply this to the conflict. Can you personally stop a missile launch? No. Can you force leaders to sit down at the negotiating table? No. When we spend our mental and emotional energy on these things, we willingly surrender our peace of mind. We become puppets of the news feed. This is especially true today, in the age of social media. Algorithms are specifically designed to show us what elicits a strong emotional response, most often anger and fear. They feed us an endless stream of events we cannot control, and this makes us anxious and powerless. A Stoic says, "I will focus on my own work," and our work lies within our sphere of control. How do you consume the news? Passively and with horror, or actively, seeking different points of view? Do you practice digital hygiene, consciously limiting your time on the news to preserve your clarity of mind? How do you speak about this with others? By fanning the flames of hatred, or by fostering understanding? Will you spread panic, or will you become an island of reason for your family and friends? This is where your true power lies, not in influencing world politics, but in governing your own world, the world of your thoughts and actions. The second principle is overcoming anger. Anger seems like a righteous reaction to injustice and violence. But the Stoic Seneca, who advised the infamous Emperor Nero and saw anger in its ugliest forms, called it a brief madness. In his essay on anger, he wrote that anger is most eager to inflict punishment. Think about that. Anger clouds our reason. It simplifies the most complex geopolitical and historical problems into a primitive us versus them. It craves revenge, not justice. And revenge is merely another turn in the spiral of violence. When anger consumes an entire society, dehumanization occurs. The enemy ceases to be a human being, a father, a son, a daughter. They become a caricature, a symbol of evil that must be destroyed. This is the psychological soil in which the worst crimes in history grow. Stoicism calls on us to desperately resist this simplification. When you feel that surge of anger from another headline, try this thought experiment. Imagine your anger is a burning coal. You want to hurl it at someone thousands of miles away. But who is holding it the entire time? Who is the one getting burned? You are. In place of anger, Stoicism offers the virtue of justice. And justice requires clarity of mind empathy, and the will to understand the full complexity of a situation, not just the part that confirms our biases. The third tool is less known but incredibly powerful, Premeditatio Malorum, which translates to the premeditation of adversity. This is not pessimism. It is a kind of mental inoculation. Seneca advised us to regularly spend time reflecting on what could go wrong. He wrote, "What is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect. The soldier who has seen the enemy approaching strikes a more confident blow." By thinking through the worst-case scenarios in advance, in a calm state, you prepare your mind. When the event actually occurs, you don't meet it with panic, thinking, "Oh no, how could this happen?" But with the thought, "Yes, I considered this possibility. I am ready." This exercise shifts the problem from the emotional part of the brain, responsible for the fight or flight response, to the rational part, capable of analysis. It makes us more resilient. It transforms an unknown, terrifying fear into a concrete problem for which you can prepare a plan of action, even if only at the level of your own perception and reaction. And finally, the fourth principle, the most sublime idea of the Stoics, cosmopolitanism, or the view from above. Marcus Aurelius, as the most powerful man in the world, constantly practiced this exercise. Let's do it right now. Close your eyes if you wish. Imagine you are rising up above your home, above your city. Higher, you see the outline of your country. Higher still, you see the continents, the oceans, the planet, a shining blue marble in the infinite silence of space. From this height, where is Iran? Where is Israel? You see only parts of a single whole. The borders that seem so unshakable on the ground look like thin, imaginary lines from up here. This perspective doesn't diminish suffering. It helps us extend our empathy beyond our own. Think of a soldier on the other side, not in uniform, not with a weapon. Imagine him playing with his child, or worrying about his elderly parents, or simply dreaming of a peaceful life. In that moment, he ceases to be an abstraction, an enemy. He becomes a human being. This is the practice of Stoic cosmopolitanism, seeing the shared humanity behind the labels and the uniforms. I can hear your question, fine, but isn't all of this just a beautiful form of escapism? Isn't Stoicism a call to inaction and apathy? This is a critically important point. Let's be perfectly clear. The word apathy in modern language means indifference. But for the Stoics, apatheia meant something else, a state free from irrational, unhealthy passions. It is not the absence of feeling, but the absence of destructive emotion. Stoicism is not a philosophy for those who hide from the world. It is a philosophy for the arena, for the battlefield, for the courtroom. It is a warrior's philosophy. Look at the Stoics. Cato fought against tyranny. Seneca was a statesman. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire and led its wars. They did not sit on their hands. But their actions stemmed not from anger or fear, but from a sense of duty and reason. They acted where they could make a difference, within their sphere of control. So what are we to do? First, distinguish between what you can and cannot control. Second, reject the poison of anger in favor of justice. Third, prepare for hardship in advance so that it does not break you. Fourth, remember that we are all citizens of one world. The world will not change overnight, but you can build your inner citadel. You can be a source of tranquility and reason for those around you. And that is no small thing. In a world engulfed by fire, even a single drop of water matters. Thank you for walking this path with me. These are difficult topics, and I am grateful for your time. Leave a comment below. Which of these 4 tools do you find most useful right now? Be strong, be wise, and act with virtue in your sphere of influence.